The SMSL R1 is a gaming DAC amp that's compatible with lots of devices, including PC, Mac, and the PlayStation. According to SMSL, this is not intended to appeal to audiophiles, which I find a little curious given the old-school DITA-RAMs inspired design and analog controls. This is aimed at first-time DAC amp users or anyone wanting better audio than a basic sound card or controller jack, without complexity or a high price tag. It is basic, but I reckon it's a neat little solution if you're looking to dip your toes into the DAC amp space, especially for gaming. Features first. The SMSL R1 delivers up to 120 milliwatts into 32 ohms, which isn't super powerful, but it's enough to drive most gaming headsets and mini headphones. However, if you're using headphones that are difficult to drive or you like listening at loud volumes, the R1 may not be the best choice because it might run out of headroom or struggle to deliver the dynamics you want. For example, the Beyerdynamic MMX 300 Pro are 48 ohms, and although they sound fine, I had to crank the volume pretty much to full tilt. For a simple product, you get a good selection of inputs: USB, coaxial, optical, and a microphone input. The same goes for outputs, giving you an RCA line out and both a 3.5mm single-ended and a 4.4mm balanced. Again, not an audiophile product. It has a separate USB input for power, but this isn't needed when connected to a PC, Mac, or a console via USB. If you're using one of the other audio inputs though, you'll need to connect it to a power source. It's a heavy little thing at 316 grams, which means it should stay put during general usage. Obviously, this will depend on how animated you are, but I had no issues with it getting yanked. It gives you bass and treble controls as well as 3 EQ presets, which I'll get into when I talk about sound. In the box, you get a USB-C cable with a USB-A adapter, along with a 3.5mm Y cable if you need to split the mic and game audio. Aesthetically, I love the R1's all-aluminium alloy chassis and nod to 50s and 60s minimal product design. But I can see how this might not appeal to the average gamer. Again, why design something that looks like it's intended to attract audio enthusiasts if that's not your target audience? Okay, that's the last time I'll complain about that, I promise. Appearances aside, it's functionally straightforward. There are no menus or hidden options behind button combinations, and there's no companion software either, so no firmware updates or drivers to worry about. The controls are simple and tactile. There's a large dial for volume which has a smooth action and feels really nice to operate, although some might want something with a bit more resistance or defined clicks for more precise adjustment. There's 2 buttons, one for swapping inputs and the other for selecting the EQ preset. These have small corresponding lights for each to indicate which setting is active. Additionally, there's some RGB lights which indicate the left and right output levels, which only seem to light up when connected to a PC or a Mac. Now, there's no physical control to switch outputs. Headphones take the priority over the line out, so you'll need to unplug the headphones to change the output. That said, it will run audio simultaneously out of both headphone outputs, although this does reduce how hard you can drive what's connected. There are 2 sliders, one for adjusting the bass and one for the treble, and there's a volume fader for the microphone. These have a firm resistance to them, but no defined steps apart from the center position. Now, it doesn't have any way to store EQ settings. Your only option is to just leave the levels where they are.
Don't touch my levels now. I got them set just like I like them.
On the top, you have your input options, as well as the line out using RCA for sending the audio to something else. On the bottom, there's the microphone input and the 2 headphone outputs. In terms of compatibility, it'll work via USB with PC, Mac, and PlayStation. Optical and coaxial gives you the flexibility to connect it to other devices, but you're going to need something like an HDMI to optical splitter to get this to work with Xbox or the Switches. In terms of performance, the R1 delivers clean, undistorted sound in its flat EQ setting. You also get 3 other presets which add more flavor. I don't have the exact levels or descriptions for these, but based on my own testing, they can be described as more bass still, and bass. I predominantly left it in flat for both music and gaming, although for a more lively sound, the first EQ presetting isn't a bad choice. The other 2 are way too extreme for my taste, but each to their own, I guess. If you prefer to tweak your own EQ levels, the sliders, which range from -9 dB to +9 dB, give you better control, allowing you to create a more balanced sound than the EQ presets. You can tweak the presets as well, but again, there's no way to save your settings other than leaving the sliders alone. Now, it doesn't have simulated surround sound or game-specific EQ presets like a footsteps mode. It also won't decode or pass through surround sound formats like Dolby Atmos or DTSX. Nevertheless, the overall improvement to fidelity should provide a tangible benefit over your PC's default sound card, and it will definitely be a step up from the limited dynamics on a wireless controller. This will not only give you an edge by letting you hear audio cues more clearly, it will improve your overall listening experience. This is a mic test using the Beyerdynamic MMX300 Pros mic. Microphone audio comes through as clear as the connected mic permits with no noise floor hiss. There's no EQing for the microphone, so if you want noise cancelling or some kind of Barry White filter, you'll have to do that via a third-party solution. I do find that I have to run the mic volume set all the way to the lowest setting, otherwise I seem to get distortion. Honestly, there's not much else to say about the R1. It's a simple plug-and-play solution that works with lots of different devices and is easy to operate without needing a deep understanding of audio equipment. It'll give you better audio quality than a basic sound card, and better sound and power than connecting a headphone directly to a wireless controller. At 120 milliwatts, it won't blow your head back, and it will struggle to drive high impedance audio gear. But most gaming headsets are easy to drive, and it'll happily power your favorite IEMs. My only real complaint is the lack of a dedicated output control. Having to unplug your headphones isn't the end of the world, but a switch would have been better. Otherwise, the SMSL R1 is an inexpensive way to level up your setup and/or dip your toes into the DAC amp space.